My name is Olivia Parker, and the day my relatives demanded to use my beach house for free, they were absolutely certain I would say yes. After all, that's what I had always done before. Stayed quiet, avoided confrontation, let everyone in the family walk all over me. But this time was different, because the beach house they wanted wasn't just a vacation home. It was the result of 8 years of rebuilding my life after losing everything. And when my aunt finally said the words, "Family shouldn't charge family," I smiled politely and handed her a rental agreement that shocked the entire room. But before I tell you what happened next, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your city below. I read every comment. Now let me explain why my family believed my beach house belonged to them and why they weren't ready for my response. 3 years earlier, I didn't live near any beach. I lived in a tiny studio apartment above a noisy laundromat. My small business had just collapsed. I had spent years building an online travel company that failed after a major investor suddenly pulled out. Within months, everything disappeared. My savings, my office, even my car. When my relatives heard about it, their reactions were exactly what you would expect. My cousin Brandon laughed and said, "Starting businesses isn't for everyone, Olivia." My Aunt Sharon shook her head sympathetically. "You always had big dreams, sweetheart," but the tone in her voice made it clear she thought I had been foolish. Only my younger sister Lily stayed supportive. Everyone else slowly disappeared from my life. Family dinners stopped, phone calls stopped, even holiday invitations became rare. At first it hurt, but eventually something strange happened. I stopped caring about their approval, and that's when everything began to change. Instead of starting another company immediately, I began working as a property manager for a coastal rental agency. At first, it was just a job, answering emails, handling bookings, managing maintenance requests. But over time, I started learning how the business actually worked: tourism trends, vacation rental marketing, property pricing strategies. Within 2 years, I was managing dozens of high-end beach homes for investors. And slowly, quietly, I started saving again. Eventually, I had enough for something I had always dreamed about: a beach house. Not a massive mansion, but a beautiful coastal home overlooking the ocean. White wooden railings, large glass windows facing the water, a small porch where you could hear the waves at night. For the first time in years, my life felt peaceful. Which is exactly when my relatives suddenly remembered I existed. It started with a phone call from my Aunt Sharon. "I heard you bought a beach house," she said cheerfully. "News travels fast in families." "Yes," I replied. "That's wonderful," she said warmly. Then she asked the question that started everything. "So when can we use it?" Not "can we rent it," not "can we visit," just "when can we use it?" I tried to stay polite. "It's a vacation rental most of the year." "Oh, Olivia," she laughed, "you wouldn't charge family." At the time, I didn't argue, but I also didn't invite anyone. Then summer arrived, and suddenly the requests started multiplying. My cousin Brandon called first. "Hey, Olivia, we're planning a beach trip next weekend." My Uncle David wanted to host a birthday party there. My Aunt Sharon suggested a family reunion. None of them mentioned paying. Finally, one Saturday afternoon, something unexpected happened. 6 cars pulled into my driveway. My relatives stepped out like they owned the place. My Aunt Sharon walked through the front door, admiring the living room. "This will be perfect for the reunion," she said. My cousin Brandon opened the refrigerator like he already lived there. My Uncle David started discussing where to place a barbecue grill. Not one person asked permission. That was the moment I understood something clearly. They didn't see my beach house as something I built. They saw it as something they were entitled to. Finally, my Aunt Sharon turned toward me. "So we'll take the house next weekend," she said casually. "For free, obviously." I looked around the room, at the people who had ignored me when my life fell apart, at the people who only came back once success appeared. Then I smiled. "Sure." Their faces lit up immediately. But before anyone could celebrate, I placed a folder on the table. Inside were several printed documents. "What's this?" Brandon asked. "A rental agreement," I replied calmly. The room went completely silent. My Aunt Sharon frowned. "You're joking." "No," I slid the papers toward them. Standard vacation rental terms. My Uncle David picked up the contract and began reading. Then his eyebrows shot upward. "You're charging family?" "Yes, but the price is extremely high. That's peak season." My aunt's voice rose. "Family doesn't charge family." I leaned back calmly. Funny, because family also doesn't disappear when someone loses everything. Nobody spoke for several seconds. Then Brandon pushed the contract away. "This is ridiculous. You're being selfish." "Maybe, but at least I'm being honest." My aunt crossed her arms. "You've changed, Olivia." "No, I've just stopped pretending." The argument continued for another 10 minutes. Then, one by one, they grabbed their bags. Brandon muttered something about greed, my Uncle David complained about respect, and my Aunt Sharon said exactly what I expected. "Don't expect us to visit again." I smiled politely. That was never the plan. They drove away angry, but something surprising happened the next week. The beach house was fully booked. Tourists loved it. Travel bloggers started writing about it. A coastal lifestyle magazine even featured it in an article titled Hidden Ocean Getaways. Business grew faster than ever. Because the truth is, people who demand things for free rarely respect them, but the people who pay for them, they appreciate every moment. And sometimes the most powerful word you can say to family isn't yes, it's no. Because the people who disappear after hearing it were never really there for you in the first place. So tell me honestly, if your relatives demanded to use your dream home for free, what would you do?